Hello viewers, I am Professor Pavan Kumar, Department of Management Studies, Sai Vidya Institute of Technology, Rajankunta. And this is the second video which I will be talking about merchant banking. We will just try to look into the services offered by merchant banking in today's session. Before me moving on to the concept of merchant banking services, let us look into the meaning. In brief, what does a merchant banking mean? Viewers, when we talk about merchant banking, a merchant banking is a company that conducts underwriting, loan services, financial advising, and fundraising services for large corporations and high net worth individuals. Unlike retail or commercial banks, merchant banks do not provide services to the general public. They do not provide regular banking services like checking accounts and do not take deposits. That is a brief meaning about the merchant banking. Now, when we look on with the concept or with the services offered by merchant banking, the first service that we could talk about is the rising finance for clients. Merchant banking helps its clients to rise through issue of shares, debentures, bank loans, etc. It helps its clients to raise finance from the domestic and international markets. The finance is used for starting a new business or project of for modernization or expansion of the business. Viewers, when we talk about rising finance, the finance is a lifeblood of every business. When a company is required to raise a finance for such matter, it helps them or it gives them an idea like issuing shares to in order to raise a finance or debentures or even undergoing a bank loan, and it gives a best percentage or it guides to take a loan with a bank with a minimal loan percent or with a minimal interest percentage. And this services could be accompanied or this services could be gained from the domestic and international markets. So rising of finance is essential for two concepts: either to start up a new venture or when you want to modernize an existing business. So at this point of time, you require a rising of finance facility, and that is cleanly and well segregated and organized by a merchant banking. Now moving on to the second services, broker and stock exchange. Merchant bankers acts as a broker in the stock exchange. So you know what does a broker do in a stock exchange? He buys and sells shares on behalf of the clients. That is what a general broker does in the stock exchange. They conduct research on equity shares. What is it? Research on equity shares. So we know the equity shareholders or the real owners of the company. That is a statement that we generally know. So these merchant bankers, they conduct research on various equity share options and they guide the other high net worth individuals to invest in those. They also advise their clients about which shares to buy, when to buy, how to buy, and when to sell. Larger brokers, mutual funds, venture capital companies, and investment banks offer merchant banking services. Next, moving on to the third service, project management. Merchant bankers help their clients in many ways. For example, advising about location of a project, preparing a project report, conducting feasibility studies, making a plan for financing the project, finding out source of finance, advising about consensus, concessions and incentives from the government. Viewers, when we talk about project management, this merchant bankers looks into the overall concepts of the project or overall consequences of the project. Assume a company has took up an wind power project. So this wind power project has got subsidies from the government and it has to maintain some environmental restrictions as well. So looking on to this way, overall aspects, merchant banker will help that wind power entrepreneur to work properly and to get the proper financial support from the bankers, proper permissions and the proper prerequisites from the government, as well as it even looks into the profit percentage of that entrepreneur as well. That is about project management. Next, advice on expansion and modernization, which is a very essential service required for this for the today's businesses. See, post pandemic, many business requires expansion, modernization as well. Today, you cannot just sit in an ideal store and work. Today, online is working in a best way post pandemic. Or along with this COVID situation, each one of us prefer an online purchase on an online shopping as well. So, merchant banker gives an advice with relation to the advice on expansion and modernization. Merchant bankers give advice for this. They give expert advice on mergers and amalgamations as well. Like as we said in the meaning or in a previous video, it advises you, can you merge with this company? If you merge, will you get a good amount of profit? Or can you get amalgamated with this company? Or can you acquire this company? All these things will be observed by this merchant banker and they advise their clients. Next, managing public issue of companies. Merchant bank advise and manage the public issue of companies. They provide following services: advisors on timing of the public issue, advice on the size and price of the issue, acting of as a manager to the issue and helping in accepting application and allotment of securities, helping in appointing underwriters and brokers to the issue, listing of shares on the stock exchange, etc. The next service that we can observe is handling government consent for the industrial project. As I give you an example of wind power, you require government consent. When you talk about certain solar power plants, when you talk about pharmaceutical industry, garmental industries, chemical fertilizer industries, or some agricultural industries, you require government consent for certain projects. A businessman has to get government permission for starting of a project. Similarly, a company requires permission for expansion or modernization activities. For this, many formalities have to be completed. Merchant banks do all this work for their clients. Next, services special assistance to the small companies and entrepreneurs. Merchant banks advise small companies about business opportunities, government policies, incentives, and concessions available. It also helps them to take advantage of these opportunities and concessions, etc. Services to public sector units. Merchant banks offer many services to public sector units and public utilities. They help in raising long-term capital, marketing of securities, foreign collaboration, and arranging long-term finance for the term lending institutions. That is about service to public sector units. When we talk about public sector units, we know there is a higher involvement of the public, which are public limited companies. They work for the environmental as well their profit, but the public interest plays a crucial role with this sort of units. Next, revival of sick industrial units. See, when we talk about sick industries, see, these are those industries which are not able to cope up with their business environment, which are not able to sustain with the environment, and which are not able to gain a profit. So, this merchant banker will work on those sick industries and they help them to cure or help them to revive or help them to get better with the business or with this operations. That is about revival of sick industrial units. Moving on to the next service, that is a portfolio management, and this service is even related to the functions of your merchant bank. A merchant bank manages the portfolio, the investments of its clients. This makes investments safe, liquid, and profitable for the client. It offers expert guidance to its clients for taking investment decisions. Moving on to the next service, corporate restructuring. It includes merger or acquisition of existing business units, sale of existing unit, or disinvestment. So, viewers are not make it too clumsy. See, corporate restructuring means you are restructuring or you are regenerating your existing business environment. How do you restructure your existing business environment? Either you have to merge, either you have to acquire, either you have to sell, or you should disinvest. That means you're taking back your investment. How do the merchant banker help you? They look into the profit volume, they look into the sales volume, they look into the operational volume of all these aspects, and they guide in the corporate restructuring. Next service is money market operation. Merchant bankers deal with the underwrite short term money market investments such as government bonds, certificate of deposits, commercial papers issued by a large corporate firms, treasury bills by government. So this money market operations are also observed by a merchant bankers. Moving on to the next service of a merchant banker, that is about leasing service. Even this is put up in your functions as well. Merchant bankers also help in leasing service. Lease is a contract between the lessor and a lessee, whereby the lessor allows the use of his specific asset, such as equipment, by the lessee for a certain period. The leaser charges a fee called rentals. So we know leasing service is a service where a property is leased or is provided to a lessee for some amount, for some agreed value. So that is about leasing service. Next one is management of interest and dividend. Merchant bankers help their clients in management of interest on debenture loans and dividend on shares. They also advise their client about timing, interim, or yearly and the rate of dividend. What does this mean? Management of interest and dividend. Assume there is a client who has listened to the merchant banker's advice and he has invested on it. So the merchant bankers do not sit idle without supporting him. They work on him, they follow it up, they will check out whether what time his interest should be given, what time the dividend should be rendered to him, what is the rate of dividend that he should gain. All these things they compute. That is about the services of merchant banking. So we'll discuss about the meaning of issue in today's class or in the today's session. Just go through the glimpses of services offered by the merchant banker. Viewers, let us look into the meaning of issue. An issue is a process of offering securities in order to raise funds from the investors. It's very simple. An issue is a process where of offering securities in order to raise funds from investors. Companies may issue bonds or stocks to investors as a method of financing the business. The term issue also refers to a series of stocks or bonds that have been offered to the public and typically relates to the set of instruments that were released under one offering. So issue is a process or where the securities are offered to the investors in order to raise funds. That is about the meaning of issue. Viewers, just in brief about this, about the section of the, we spoke about the concepts of merchant banking, meaning and services, and the meaning of issue in the today's session. Thank you, viewers. Please do like, subscribe, and share the channel.